119. It is divided. Of course, I didn't check in Sepharia. Psalm 119 is divided into sections. Did anyone look at their altar, whatever? Can someone tell me how Psalm 119 is divided into sections? Someone certainly knows. Michael Goldstein knows.
I did look at it in the altar book, and in the introduction, he says that it's the alphabet, that each verse is a letter of the alphabet. And in his English translation, he shows Aleph, Bet, Gimel for each one. My question is, why are we doing this today? Why are we doing 119 today?
Because this is where we're up to.
Oh, okay.
In our reading, and I just wanted to make sure that we dedicated a whole day just to 119 because that's how long it's going to take. I didn't want to break it up.
All right,
So
I just wasn't sure where we had stopped, but okay, I did read through 119, and as I said, it's all the letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Each letter gets a few verses.
Yes, that is correct. And of course, after doing that, I realized that Safari does not indicate those breaks. So it's a little trickier, but we will make this happen. Okay, let me pull up the text.
If somebody pulls out the Levy, he has the breaks.
Yeah.
He has the breaks. So
Richard Levy does.
Yeah. If you need a reader, a Hebrew reader today, I'm available.
Okay, Joan is handling that.
Carol, I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
Please, thank you so much.
So
to do it.
Psalm 119, view, always show bookmarks bar, always show toolbar. Okay, 119. All right, let's take our last stretch and.
Should we mute ourselves now?
Yes, that's a good, everyone mute themselves and then unmute yourself as it comes time for you to read. If you're not reading, please stay muted. Okay, view full screen. All right, we are ready to go with Ben Shafran and Lori Krotman.
I start?
Yes.
Until what verse?
Okay. Joan, if you can be putting the verses in chat. Ben, you are going to verse 16.
Thank you. אשרי תמימי דרך ההולכים בתורת אדוני. אשרי נוצרי עדותיו בכל לב ידרשו. אף לא פעלו עוולה בדרכיו הלכו. אתה ציווית פקודיך לשמור מאוד. אכלי יקונו דרכי לשמור חוקיך. אז לא אבוש והביטי על כל מצוותיך. אותך ביושר לבב בלמדי משפטי צדקך. את חוקיך אשמור, אל תעזבני עד מאוד. במה יזכר נער את אורחו לשמור כדבריך. בכל ליבי דרשתיך, אל תשגני ממצוותיך. בליבי צפנתי אמרתך למען לא אחטא לך. ברוך אתה אדוני למדני חוקיך. בשפתי סיפרתי כל משפטי פיך, בדרך עדותיך ששתי כעל כל הון. בפיקודיך אשיך והביט אורותיך, בחוקיך אשתעשע, לא אשכח דבריך.
All right, Lori for Aleph and Bet.
Happy are those whose way is blameless, who follow the teaching of the Lord. Happy are those who observe his decrees, who turn to the Lord wholeheartedly. They have done no wrong, but have followed the Lord's ways. You have commanded your precepts be kept diligently. Would that my ways were firm in keeping your laws. Then I would not be ashamed when I regard all your commandments. I will praise you with a sincere heart as I learn your just rules. I will keep your laws. Do not utterly forsake me. How can a young person keep the person's way pure? By holding to your word. I have turned to you with all my heart. Do not let me stray from your commandments. In my heart, I treasure your promise. Therefore, I do not sin against you. Blessed are you, O Lord, Train me in your laws. With my lips, I rehearse all the rules you proclaimed. I rejoice over the way of your decrees as over all riches. I study your precepts. I regard your ways. I take delight in your laws. I will not neglect your word.
All right. Gimel, Scott Soloway, and again, Lori Krotman. It goes to verse 24.
Gimol al avdecha echye va'ashmara dvarecha, gal einai va'abita, niflaot mitoratecha. Ger anochi ba'aretz al tastemi meni mitzvotecha, garsa nafshi latava el mishpatecha b'chol eit, ga'arta zedim arurim, hashogimi mitzvotecha, gal me'alai cherpa vavuz, ki edotecha natsarti, gam yashvu sarim bi nidbaru, avdecha yasiach bechukecha, gam edotecha sha'ashu'ai anshe atzati.
Deal kindly with your servant that I may live to keep your word. Open my eyes that I may perceive the wonders of your teaching. I am only a sojourner in the land. Do not hide your commandments from me. My soul is consumed with longing for your rules at all times. You blast the accursed insolent ones who stray from your commandments. Take away from me taunt and abuse, because I observe your decrees. Though princes meet and speak against me, your servant studies your laws. For your decrees are my delight, my intimate companions.
Thank you. We are now up to Dalet, which will be read in Hebrew by Sarah Siegel and in English by Linda Solomon.
Afkala afar nafshi chayeni kidvarecha. Darchai siparti, v'ta'aneni lamdeni chukecha. Derech pikudecha, havineni va'asicha beniflotecha. Dalfa nafshi mituga, kaimeni kidvarecha. Derech sheker haser mimeni, v'toratcha chaneni. Derech emuna, v'charti mishpatecha shiviti. Davakti be'edotecha Hashem al tivisheni. Derech mitzvotecha arutz, ki tarchiv libi.
That's it for Dalet.
Okay. Dust has invaded my being. Restore my life as you have declared. Detailing my ways, I was answered by you. Teach me your statutes. Describe for me the path of your precepts, that I may meditate on your wonders. Drooped over from grief am I. Sustain me according to your word. Discard for me the path of falsehood. Grant me the grace of your Torah. Deciding for the path of faithfulness am I, setting your judgments before me. Dearly have I cleaved to your testimonies, Adonai. Put me not to shame. Directed to your mitzvot, I begin to run, for you have expanded my heart.
Thank you. We're now at Hay, which will read in Hebrew by Sarah Sloan and in English again by Linda Solomon.
Hareni Adonai derech chukecha v'tzarena ekev. Havienu v'atzara toratcha v'shamarna b'chol lev. Hadricheni b'ntiv mitzvotecha kivo chafatzti. Hat libi el edotecha v'al el batza. Haver einai merot shava v'darchecha chayenu. Hakem lavdecha amartach asher liratecha. העבר חרפתי אשר יגרתי, כי משפטך טובים. הנה תאוותי לפקודיך, בסדרתך חיינו.
Educate me, Adonai, in the way of your statutes, and I will guard them with every step. Enlighten me that I may guard your Torah, and I will observe it with all my heart. Envelop me in the path of your mitzvot, for in it I delight. Extend my heart to be near your testimonies, but not near material gain. Enjoin my eyes from seeing falsehood. Restore my life through your way. Exalt your servant with your word, which leads to reverence for you. End my shame, which I so fear, for your judgments are good. Even in my desire for your precepts, restore my life through your justice.
Now, Vav, Sol Zalkin in Hebrew and Lori Spear in English.
So I'm only doing till 44.
Yes, 44.
Okay. Vivo uni chasadecha charaya, tishuatka ki imratecha, ve'ene chorfi davar, ki batachti bitvarecha, va'al tatzel mipi dvar emet ad me'od, ki lemishpatecha yilchalti, ve'esh mira toratcha tamid leolam va'ed.
Karen, why don't you finish up with Vav, 44 through 49. Karen Brody? Is Karen here?
Yes, she's here.
Yeah, she's here.
Karen, you need to unmute yourself. You are a reader for 45 to 49, or I will ask Saul to continue. Saul, could you please continue with Vav?
Sure. Be'et halcha ve'achava ki fikudecha darashti va'adabra ve'edotecha neged melachim v'lo ebosh ve'esh ta'asha b'mitzvotecha asher ahavti ve'esach apai el mitzvotecha asher ahavti va'asicha v'chukecha.
Thank you so much, Saul. And our English reader here is Lori Spear.
May your steadfast love reach me, O Lord, your deliverance as you have promised. I shall have an answer for those who taunt me, for I have put my trust in your word. Do not utterly take the truth away from my mouth, for I have put my hope in your rules. I will always obey your teaching forever and ever. I will walk at ease, for I have turned to your precepts. I will speak of your decrees and not be ashamed in the presence of kings. I will delight in your commandments, which I love. I reach out for your commandments, which I love. I study your laws.
All right.
Remember your word to your servant.
No, wait.
Okay.
We're on a new letter now. We're on, we now have Scott Soloway, 49 through 56, and then you will come back and do the English, Lori. So Scott, 49 through 56.
Zechor davar la'avdecha al asher yichaltani.
Right.
Zot nechemati ba'anyi ki imratcha chiyatni. Zaydim halitzuni ad ma'od mitoratcha lo natiti. Zacharti mishpatecha me'olam Adonai ve'et necham. Zalafa achazatni merashaim ozvei toratecha. Zmirot hayu li chukecha beveit migurai. Zacharti balayla shimcha Adonai va'eshmera Toratecha. Zot hayta li kifikudecha natzarti.
All right, Lori again. Lori Spear, 49 through 56.
Remember your word to your servant, through which you have given me hope. This is my comfort in my affliction, that your promise has preserved me. Though the arrogant have cruelly mocked me, I have not swerved from your teaching. I remember your rules of old, O Lord, and find comfort in them. I am seized with rage because of the wicked who forsake your teaching. Your laws are a source of strength to me wherever I may dwell. I remember your name at night, O Lord, and obey your teaching. This has been my lot, for I have observed your precepts.
Thank you so much. And now we're back to, let's see, Scott for 57 through 64.
Chelki Adonai amarti lishmor dvarecha. Chiliti fanecha b'chol lev, chaneni ki'imratecha. Chishavti drachai, va'ashiva raglai el edotecha. Chashti v'lo hitmamati lishmor mitzvotecha. Chavlei reshaim ivduni, Toratcha lo shachachti. Chatzot laila akum lahodot lach al mishpatei tzidkecha. Chaver ani lechol asher yireucha u'leshomrei pikudecha. Chastecha Adonai malah haaretz chukecha lamdeni.
All right, and our English reader here is Judy Frank.
No, it's me.
Oh, excuse me. Marcia Melnick.
I think, yeah, I thought it was me.
Wait, I have Judy Frank here. Marcia, I have you for 65 through 72.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
The Lord is, okay.
Can
The
I just
Lord
step
is
in
my,
since I'm sorry.
Yes, Joan.
Since we have an interruption, I've been trying to contact Carol Diamond in the direct message because Dorena wasn't here to give Carol to give you a heads up. You've got 89 to 96 in the Hebrew.
I saw Dorena arrive.
She did?
I saw her come. Check again.
Oh, great.
All right.
My mistake.
Okay. So back to 57 through 64 in English, Judy Frank.
Adonai is my portion. I have resolved to keep your words. I have implored you with all my heart. Have mercy on me in accordance with your promise. I have considered my ways and have turned back to your decrees. I have hurried and not delayed to keep your commandments. Though the bonds of the wicked are coiled round me, I have not neglected your teaching. I arise at midnight to praise you for your just rules. I am a companion to all who fear you, to those who keep your precepts. Your steadfast love, Adonai, fills the earth. Teach me your laws.
All right. We are now, Jack Neiman is our Hebrew reader for 65 through 72, and Marcia Melnick will be our English reader.
Tov asita im avdecha Adonai kidvarecha. Tuv ta'am vada'at lamedeni ki v'mitzvotecha he'amanti. Terem emene ani shogeg ve'ata imratecha shamarti. Tov ata umetiv lamedeni chukecha. Tafelu ale sheker zedim ani bech lev etzor pikudecha. Tafash kachelev libam ani toratecha shiasha'ati. Tov li chiuneti lema'an, 'Elmad chukecha. Tov li Torat, picha me'alfe zahav v'chasef.
Thank you. Beautiful. Marcia, you are now our English reader.
You have treated your servant well according to your word, O Yud-He Vav-He. Teach me good sense and knowledge, for I have put my trust in your commandments. Before I was humbled, I went astray, but now I keep your word. You are good and beneficent. Teach me your laws. Though the arrogant have accused me falsely, I observe your precepts wholeheartedly. Their minds are thick like fat. As for me, your teaching is my delight. It was good for me that I was humbled so that I might learn your laws. I prefer the teaching you proclaimed to thousands of gold and silver pieces.
Thank you so much, Marcia. Now for 73 through 80, Sarah Siegel is our Hebrew reader and Randy Axelrod will be our English reader.
Yadecha asuni v'yichnonuni, havineni ve'elmeda mitzvotecha. Yireecha yiruni v'yismechu ki lidvarecha yichalti. Yadati Hashem ki tzedek mishpatecha ve'emunah initani. Yehi nachastecha lenachameni ki im ratcha la'avdecha. Yevoni rachamecha ve'echye ki toratcha sha'ashuai. Yevoshu zedim ki sheker ivituni ani asiach bifkudecha. Yashuvu li yerecha vid'e edotecha. Yehi libi tamim bechukecha lema'an lo evosh.
Thank you. And Randy Axelrod.
Your hands made me and fashioned me. Give me understanding that I may learn your commandments. Those who fear you will see me and rejoice, for I have put my hope in your word. I know, Adonai, that your rulings are just. Rightly have you humbled me. May your steadfast love comfort me in accordance with your promise to your servant. May your mercy reach me that I might live, for your teaching is my delight. Let the insolent be dismayed, for they have wronged me without cause. I will study your precepts. May those who fear you, those who know your decrees, turn again to me. May I wholeheartedly follow your laws so that I do not come to grief.
Thank you both very much. For 81 through 88, Scott Soloway is our Hebrew reader and Judy Frank is our English reader.
Kalta l'tshuatcha nafshi lidvarcha yichalti. Kalu einai le'imratecha le'mor matai tenachameni. Ki hayiti knod bekitor chukecha lo shachachti. Kama yimei avdecha matai ta'aseh brodfei mishpat. Karuli zedim shichot asher lo ketoratecha. Kol mitzvotecha emuna sheker ridafuni azreini. Kimat kiluni ba'aretz va'ani lo azavti fikudecha.
Judy Frank.
I long for your deliverance. I hope for your word. My eyes pine away for your promise. I say, when will you comfort me? Though I have become like a water skin dried in smoke, I have not neglected your laws. How long has your servant to live? When will you bring my persecutors to judgment? The insolent have dug pits for me, flouting your teaching. All your commandments are enduring. I am persecuted without cause. Help me. Though they almost wiped me off the earth, I did not abandon your precepts. Oh, as befits your steadfast love, preserve me so that I may keep your decree you proclaimed.
Thank you. And now for Lamed, we have Darina on the Hebrew and Judy again on the English, verses 89 through 96.
לעולם אדוני דברך ניצב בשמיים, לדור ודור אמונתך כוננת ארץ ותמות. לולי תורתך שעשועי אף
Darina, I think you missed line 91.
Well, it will 99 is starting with Leolam, right?
Right, but
Oh, yeah, no, it's 89.
91? No, 91, you went right to 92. You keep on going, you're fine.
Sorry. I'll go back to 91. למשפטיך עמדו היום, כי החול עבדיך, לולי תורתך שעשועי. אז עבדני ועוני, לעולם לא אשכח פיקודיך, כיוון היתני, לך אני הושיעני, כי פיקודיך דרשתי. לי קיוו רשעים לאבדני. עדותיך אתבונן. לכל תכלה ראיתי קץ, רחבה מצוותיך מאוד.
Beautifully done, beautifully done. Thank you so much.
The
Judy.
Lord exists forever. Your word stands firm in heaven. Your faithfulness is for all generations. You have established the earth and it stands. They stand this day to carry out your rulings, for all are your servants. Were not your teaching my delight, I would have perished in my affliction. I will never neglect your precepts, for you have preserved my life through them. I am yours, save me, for I have turned to your precepts. The wicked hope to destroy me, but I ponder your decrees. I have seen that all things have their limit, but your commandments is broad beyond measure.
Thank you. For Mem, Ben Shafrin will read the Hebrew and Judy Frank will read the English.
מה אהבתי תורתך, כל היום היא שיחתי. מאויבי תחכמני מצוותיך, כי לעולם היא לי. מכל מלמדי השכלתי, כי עדותיך שיחה לי. מסכנים אתבונן, כי פחודיך נצרתי. מכל אורך כליאיתי רגלי, למען אשמור דבריך. ממשפטיך לא סרתי, כי אתה הורתני. מה נמלצו לחיקי אמרתך מדבש לפי? מפיקודיך אתבונן, על כן שנאתי כל אורך שקר.
Oh, how I love your teaching. It is my study all day long. Your commandments make me wiser than my enemies. They always stand by me. I have gained more insight than all my teachers, for your decrees are my study. I have gained more understanding than my elders, for I observe your precepts. I have avoided every evil way so that I may keep your word. I have not departed from your rules, for you have instructed me. How pleasing is your word to my palate, sweeter than honey. I ponder your precepts, therefore I hate every false way.
Thank you, Judy. And for Nun, we have Ben Shafran and then Linda Solomon.
נר לרגלי דבריך ואור לנתיבתי. נשבעתי ואקיימה לשמור משפטי צדקך. נענני עד מאוד, אדוני, חייני כדבריך. נדבות פי רצנה, אדוני, ומשפטך למדני. נפשי בכפי תמיד, ותורתך לא שכחתי. נתנו רשעים פח לי, ומפיקודך לא טעיתי. נחלתי עדותיך לעולם, כי ששון ליבי המה. נטיתי ליבי לעשות חוקיך לעולם עקב.
Night, you turn to noon for my feet. Light, you provide for my path. Noting my oath, I will uphold it, to observe the judgments based on your justice. Numbed sorely by my affliction, I ask you, Adonai, preserve my life according to your word. Note with favor, Adonai, the free will offerings of my mouth, and teach me your judgments. Now my life is always in my hand, yet I shall not forget your Torah. Nefarious people have set a trap for me, but I shall not stray from your precepts. Nurturing the heritage of your eternal testimonies, I find in them the joy of my heart. Noble heart, inclined to perform God's statutes forever at every step.
Thank you. For Ben Shafran, we'll read 113 to 120, and then Linda Solomon.
ואם שנאתי ותורתך אהבתי, סתרי ומגני אתה, לדבריך ייחלתי, סורו ממני מרעים, ואצרה מצוות אלוהי. שמחני כאמרתך ואחיה, אל תבשני מסברי. סעדני וישבע, ואשאר בחוקיך תמיד. סלית כל שוגים מחוקיך, כי שקר תרמימם. שיגים השבעת כל רשעי ארץ, לכן אהבתי עדותיך. שמר מפחדך בשרי, וממשפטיך ירדתי.
Opposite opinions in the same person I despise, but your Torah I love. Only you are my refuge, my shield. I hope for your word. Out of my way, evildoers, let me guard the mitzvot of my God. Offer me support according to your word that I may live, and do not shame me out of my hope. Overflow with aid for me, that I may be delivered, that I may gaze upon your statutes forever. Overpowered are all who err in your statutes, for they are deceivers, liars, offensive dross. All the wicked of the earth you have destroyed. Therefore I love your testimonies. Overcome by terror, my flesh bristles, and I am afraid of your judgments.
Thank you. For Ayin, we have Ben Shafran on the Hebrew and Jack Neiman on the English, 121 through 128.
הרוב עבדך לטוב, אל יעשקוני זדים. עיניי קבעו לישועתך ולאמרת צדקך. עשה עם עבדך כחסדך וחוקיך למדני. עבדך אני הבינני, ואדע עדותיך. עת לעשות לאדוני הפרו תורתך. על כן אהבתי מצוותיך מזהב ומפז. על כן כל פיקודי, כל ישרתי, כל אורח, שקר שנאתי.
Whoops. Here we go. Jack, 121 through 128.
I have done what is just and right. Do not abandon me to those who would wrong me. Guarantee your servant's well-being. Do not let the arrogant wrong me. My eyes pine away from your deliverance or your promise of victory. Deal with your servant as befits your steadfast love. Teach me your laws. I am your servant. Give me understanding, I might know your decrees. It is a time to act for Hamakom, for they have violated your teaching. Rightly do I love your commandments more than gold, even fine gold. Truly, by all your precepts, I walk straight. I hate every false way.
Wonderful. For pay, we again have Ben Shafran and Jack, 129 through 136.
לעוד עדותיך על כן נצרתי נפשי, פתח דבריך יאיר מבין פתיים, כי פעלתי ואשאפה, כי למצוותיך יאהבתי. פנה אליי וחנני, כמשפט לאוהבי שמך. פעמי החן באמרתך, ואל תשלט בי כל אבן. פדני מעושק אדם ואשמרה פיקודיך, פניך האר בעבדיך, ולמדני את חוקיך. פלגי מים ירדו עיניי, הלא שמרו תורתך.
Your decrees are wondrous, rightly do I observe them. The words you inscribed give light and grant understanding to the sleep. I open my mouth wide, I pant, longing for your commandments. Turn to me and be gracious to me, as is your rule with those who love your name. Make my feet firm through your promise. Do not let iniquity dominate me. Redeem me from being wronged by man, by people, that I may keep your precepts. Show your favor to your servant and teach me your laws. My eyes shed streams of water because people do not obey your teaching.
Wonderful, thank you. For our next letter, we have Ben Shafran on the Hebrew and Adria Benjamin on the English, 137 to 144. Sadeh.
צדיק אתה אדוני וישר משפטיך, ציווית צדק עדותיך ואמונה מאוד. צמתתני קנאתי כי שכחו דבריך צרי. צרופה אמרתך מאוד ועבדיך אהבה. צעיר אנוכי ונבזה, פיקודיך לא שכחתי. צדקתך צדק לעולם ותורתך אמת. צר ומצוק מצאוני, מצוותיך שעשועי. צדק אבותיך לעולם הבינני ואחיה.
Adria Benjamin for the English.
I forgot to unmute. I apologize. You are righteous, O Adonai. Your rulings are just. You have ordained righteous decrees. They are firmly enduring. I am consumed with rage over my foes' neglect of your words. Your word is exceedingly pure, and your servant loves it. Though I am belittled and despised, I have not neglected your precepts. Your righteousness is eternal. Your teaching is true. Though anguish and distress come upon me, your commandments are my delight. Your righteous decrees are eternal. Give me understanding that I might live. I call with all my heart. Answer me, Adonai.
Wait, Adria, hold on. We haven't read these yet in Hebrew.
Sorry.
In a new letter. So keep yourself unmuted and we'll be right back to you.
Okay.
Ben Shafran, 137 to 144. Excuse me, I mean 145 to 152.
קראתי בכל לב, ענני אדוני חוקיך אצורה. קראתיך הושיעני ואשמרה עדותיך, קידמתי בנפש והשוואה, לדבריך ייחלתי. קידמו עיניי השמורות, השיח באמרתך, קולי שמעה כחסדך, אדוני כמשפטך חייני. קרבו יודמי זימה, מתורתך רחקו. קרוב אתה אדוני, וכל מצוותיך אמת. קדם ידעתי מעדותיך, כי לעולם יסדם.
I call with all my heart. Answer me, Adonai, that I may observe your laws. I call upon you. Save me, that I may keep your decrees. I rise before dawn and cry for help. I hope for your word. My eyes greet each watch of the night as I meditate upon your promise. Hear my voice as befits your steadfast love. Adonai, preserve me, as is your rule. Those who pursue intrigue draw near. They are far from your teaching. You, Adonai, are near, and all your commandments are true. I know from your decrees of old that you have established them forever.
Thank you both. Ben Shafran will now read 153 through 160 in Hebrew, and Ruthie Berman will do the translation in English.
Except that Ruthie's not here, so Ora Ezrahi is going to read the English. And when we get to the end, we didn't have anybody signed up for the last lines. Ellen Poster will do that in English.
Thank you so much, Joan.
ראה ענגי וחלצני, כי תורתך לא שכחתי, ריב ריבי וגאלני, לאמרתך חייני. רחוק מרשעים ישועה, כי חוקיך לא דרשו, רחמך רבים אדוני, כי משפטיך חייני. רבים רודפי וצרי, מעדותיך לא נטיתי, ראיתי בוגדים ואת קוטעת, אשר לא אמרתך לא שמרו. ראה כי פיקודך אהבתי, אדוני כחסדך חייני. ראש דבריך אמת, ולעולם כל משפט צדקך.
See my affliction and rescue me, for I have not neglected your teaching. Champion my cause and redeem me. Preserve me according to your promise. Deliverance is far from the wicked, for they have not turned to your laws. Your mercies are great, Adonai, as is your rule. Preserve me. Many are my persecutors and foes. I have not swerved from your decrees. I have seen traitors and loathed them, because they did not keep your word in mind. See that I have loved your precepts, Adonai. Preserve me, as befits your steadfast love. Truth is the essence of your word. Your just rules are eternal.
Thank you. Sarah Siegel, 161 to 168 in Hebrew, and Joan Friedman as the English reader.
Sarim redafuni chinam, umidvarcha pachad libi. Sas anochi al amratacha, kimotzei shalal rav, sheker saneti va'ata eva, Toratcha ahavti. Sheva biyom chalilaticha, al mishpetei tzidkecha. Shalom rav leohavei Toratecha, ve'ein lamo michshol. Sibarti li shuatecha Hashem, umitzvotecha asiti. Shamra nafshi edotecha, ve'ohevam me'od. Shamarti pikudecha ve'edotecha, ki chol darchai negdecha.
Underlings have pursued me without cause. My heart is in terror of your word. Uplifted by your word am I, like one who finds great spoil. Untruths I despise, abhor. Your Torah I love. Uncounted times each day I praise you for your righteous judgments. Unimagined peace have they who love your Torah, and there is no stumbling for them. Utterances of hope I voiced for your deliverance, as I have done your mitzvot. Unabashed, I kept your testimonies. I love them so much. Undaunted, I have kept your precepts and your testimonies, for all my ways are before you.
Tikrav rinati lifanecha Adonai kidvarcha habineni tavo tehinati lifanecha kiimrata hatsileni tavana sifatai tehila ki tilamdeni hukecha ta'an lishoni imratecha ki kol mitzvotecha tzedek tehi yadcha leozreni ki fidkutecha vacharti ta'avti lishuatcha Adonai v'toratcha she'ashunai tehi nafshi utchalecha umishpatecha ya'azruni ta'iti kese oved vakesh avdecha ki mitzvotecha lo shachachti.
May my plea reach you, Hashem. Grant me understanding according to your word. May my petition come before you. Save me in accordance with your promise. My lips shall pour forth praise, for you teach me your laws. My tongue shall declare your promise, for all your commandments are just. Lend your hand to help me, for I have chosen your precepts. I have longed for your deliverance, O Hashem. Your teaching is my delight. Let me live that I may praise you. May your rules be my help. I have strayed like a lost sheep. Search for your servant, for I have not neglected your commandments.
And thus ends Psalm 119. Wow, what a team! What a team! That was great. Thank you. Did anyone else notice that that the words are a little more of a pitfall in this psalm, as our psalmist tried to find words that used up the right letters? It was a real minefield there.
It was very evident in the Levi.
So you were
in
reading
English as well as the Hebrew.
So you were reading from the Levi. It was beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did I notice that some words had no vowels?
Had no vowels. No.
Where?
Some, yes. Which words are those?
You know, I can't put my finger on it now, but there was a couple of occasions where the words had nothing.
Jack,
So-
you know what? That happens, and then they put them in brackets. I've noticed in not just this psalm, all psalms. Every
Right.
once in a while they don't have, and then in brackets they'll suggest what the vowels should be.
Yeah, that
Of
was
course,
that-
the word
Oh.
that was originally printed does not exist, not even in biblical Hebrew. They figure it's a scribal error, and so they come up with the correct Hebrew word.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what happens. You'll see it at various different places. Before we move to discussing the pronunciation, if anyone wants to stay for a few minutes, anyone else have any more thoughts about reading through Psalm 119? Feels like we ran the marathon or a relay race or something like that. Wow.
When I was reading Psalms for Devorah, I had picked some random because I have never read lots of these Psalms. So when I was going to finish at 120, but 119 got me. It was too much because I started seeing double at one point, and I said I better stop now. So I was glad to hear it finally in one long session.
Yeah, I can't imagine that there are many people who've either read all of 119 through on their own, or read it, or heard it read out loud, or read it out loud.
Harold, I think we should have had this at Symphony Space.
Right.
Big read moves to, maybe we should do it for our last day when we go to 150. We can do it at Symphony Space, and we can have we can have it live cast or something like that.
What
So-
year will that be?
I was just wondering how many, it would take 2 years to get through Psalm 119 at the rate we've been studying the Psalms individually.
150.
So if I can then just go to a few things. So there are two things, let's see. Can you see the Ve'ahavta here with red marks on it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So listening to everybody in their very, very, very beautiful readings, I noticed that there were 2, maybe 3 things that I might want to bring to people's attention. One was this poor overworked Vav, which serves so many different purposes. Saul, if I could ask you just to read the first sentence here and listen to Saul as he comes across all of these different vavs and all the different things. Oh, Saul, can you read the whole thing and we'll listen as you pronounce each of these vavs correctly?
Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha b'chol. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll read it as it's printed. Sorry.
Just slowly. There's no rush here.
Yeah. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al lebavcha. V'shinantam lebanecha v'dibarta bam. V'shiftecha b'beitecha u'vlechtecha b'derech u'v'shachbecha u'v'kumecha. U'kshartam la'or al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha. U'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha.
Thank you so much. So here, Saul, how does that vav sound? This the very first one here. You can unmute.
Wow.
Saul, again. Can I get you back, Saul?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
So the first one here is what?
It's a V.
Oh. And how is this one pronounced?
Well,
It's not.
we don't pronounce it because it's God's name.
Right. And then this one.
That's an U.
Okay. And then this one.
It's a V sound.
Even though this one and this one look exactly the same, right? This time one is an U and this one is not. And then this one is an O sound. Correct. And I'm going to show something else here, which Dorina did so beautifully on Psalm 122, line 95. Dorina, are you there? Can you unmute yourself for a second?
Yes.
Okay. Could you give us line 95 again? Okay, just this word. Okay. How did you pronounce this?
Kivu.
Absolutely right. Even though these 2 letters look exactly the same, the first one is pronounced as the vav and the second one is not. Dorina, do you know the name of the little dot in these letters?
Yes.
No. Judy?
Oh no.
Okay, so let me stop here. So this is, I am not the grammarian, so I don't want to get ahead of my skis, but this just shows that when you're reading the Hebrew, be careful when you come to the vavs, because the vavs can be pronounced many different ways. And I will show you what those of us who read Torah are up against. Can you see the screenshot of the Torah scroll or not? I may have to stop sharing to do that. Okay, let me pull that one up. Here is what we just read looks like in the Torah. And all we get are vav, 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 and vav here. And the Torah readers need to either know this or they need to be working carefully with another text that has all of the markings to show them which vav is which. I will go back now. And is Lori Krotman here? Lori?
And it's funny, Harold, we talked about this in the Aleph class today, so
Okay.
very timely.
So I do not want anyone to get me into trouble because
I think I already did.
you did do this in the olive class. Don't say Harold corrected me and told me something that you were going to teach me very carefully later.
I did it already, Harold.
Oh
Don't
no,
worry.
Lori, I'm going to hear from her. Oh,
know.
am I going to hear from her? Okay, so Lori, how do you pronounce this word right here?
Which one? Bakal.
The
Oh, Bacol,
Okay.
because
And how do you know this?
because it's the thing with the long stem.
This this T-shaped vowel is the kamatz,
Right.
which generally has the sound of ah. However, because of its position in certain words, it becomes a kamatz katan, which is pronounced as o. So here in the Ve'ahavta, as Saul very correctly pronounced, we have bechol levavcha, not bechal levavcha, uvchol nafshecha, uvchol meodecha. And here it is in another word, uvshoch becha. It's not uvshach becha. Now, in a prayer book where they are giving the reader every possible support for correct pronunciation, there is generally either a longer line. This is from the Siddur B'chol Levavcha, the CBST Siddur, where there's a longer tail. So if you look carefully, and you will now notice it as you read through your prayer book, that the kamatz katan is represented with this long tail and has an O sound. The regular kamatz is here and has the ah sound. I'm gonna get rid of this and say, are there any other words that anyone can think of that from time to time the kamatz becomes a kamatz katan with that O sound? Kod shecha looks like it should be kad shecha, although it's kod shecha. And the other one is it Aziv Zimrat Ya Vayhi Li Lishua or Ozi Zimrat Ya Vayhi Li Lishua? It's Ozi, but it is a kamatz katan. So that is why it has the O sound. So with that little bit of help in pronunciation, I will say I looked through all of my versions of Psalms, and none of them are those reader-friendly texts that indicate a kamatz katan. Not the Mitsuda, not in the JPS, etc. The only time I think that you will see the kamatz katan in a psalm is when the psalm becomes part of the Siddur, and then they will indicate the kamatz katan. So that if there is a psalm, if you're preparing a psalm and you know that it's part of the liturgy, look at a prayer book, and it will tell you whether it's where the kamatz katans are.
Harold, one of the things that Mia said this morning was that it usually it does not appear in the Psalms. So I think that's what she said.
So
if anybody
it's
else,
not indicated by a different typography.
right?
Well,
Exactly.
certainly the words with the kamatz katan appear.
Yeah,
in the
but then
it's hard to tell.
It's not in the Psalms. She said it's in biblical. It's in biblical, more in the Torah and not. Am I right? Anybody else? Isn't that what she said?
Well, the vowel appears because certainly the word call these vowels have appeared.
Of course,
but right. I have not found a printed text of just the Psalms that indicates.
Right, exactly. That's basically what she was saying.
So this is why we call Yael Bat Chava and we say, can you make us a recording? So we'll know. So thank you very much. That is my little bit of Hebrew. I hope was that useful to you? So as you read through the prayer book, look carefully, and all of a sudden you will see that there were all these kamatzes that had these longer tails, and you never noticed them before. And now you understand the tail of the kamatz katan. All right.
And Harold, you also said that sometimes there's the tail, it's not connected to the wall.
Sometimes it's indicated differently. I will find that for tomorrow. In some texts, it's a broken tail.
Right.
But that's a tale for another day, okay?
A tail for another day.
Everybody tomorrow.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Harold. Thank you all. I'm fans.
All right, thank you. And Joan, Joan, you have a new job.
All right. Wikipedia says a kamatz is a kamatz katan if the syllable is unstressed and closed.
Okay. And so yes, that is true, and something we will discuss at greater length some other day, I'm sure. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Harold. Thank you very much.